What is up, my Shadowverse soldiers, and welcome back to another Shadowverse Evolve video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the cool starter deck that's going to be also coming out in the Cinderella Girls Idol Masters crossover set for Shadowverse Evolve. And I want to give a huge disclaimer, I don't know what any of these characters are outside of Mio Honda, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, and the first card we're going to be looking at is Triad Primus Shibuya Rin. So she's a 3-cost 3/3, she has Storm, and when she comes into play, if there are 3 or more cool followers on your field, choose another follower with 3 attack or less from your field, give it Storm, and you can also activate for 1 play point and 1 lesson to gain +1 attack. This effect can only be used once per turn. So it seems like the cool decks are going to be starting off pretty strong, since you can already have 3 cool followers on field, and then if you have another cool follower with the effect of the fanfare, you're going to give another cool follower Storm. So that's going to be a lot of damage in one turn. Alrighty, next up we have Over the Rainbow Kamaya Now. So she's a 5-cost 3/3. She has a fanfare ability to look at the top 5 cards of your deck. From among them, you may put up to 2 cool followers with the total original cost of 4 or less onto the field, and you put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So it looks like Kamiya Now is also a target for the Shibuya Rin to give Storm, but I wonder what other followers you can get off of this ability outside of the Shibuya Rin. Alright, next up we have Song of Life Hojo Karen. So she's a 1-cost 3/2. At the start of your end phase, if there are no other cool followers on your field, deal 1 damage to this card. You can also activate for 3 play points and use 1 lesson to give this follower +1 attack to all followers on your field. Alright, so it looks like with this card, you're going to be buffing up your entire board if you have the extra play points, and then if you don't have any other cool followers while this follower is out on the field, you're going to be dealing 1 damage to this card. So here is a visual chart for you visual learners. Thank you Shadowverse Evolve for providing the chart. So you can use the 5 cost to bring up the 3 cost and the 1 cost, and that equals to a cost of a total of 4. So you can bring out both those followers. The 3-drop already has Storm, so you can give Storm to something else, either that being the 5 cost or the 1 cost. You probably want to give it to the 5 cost just in case. But she has Storm, and then you can use the 1 cost ability if you have the extra play points to buff up your entire board. So instead of swinging for 6, you'll be swinging for 8. Alright, now let's look at the other cool supporting cards, starting with Okazaki Yasuha. So she's a 4-cost 4/4. She has a fanfare ability to search for a cool follower with the original cost of 2 or less from your deck, and you put it onto the field. Absolutely love it when you can get 2 for the price of 1, and it's also a rune card too, so unfortunately it is exclusive to the cool deck, but you're able to go ahead and search your deck for another card and put it into play. Alright, next up we have Sajo Yukimi. So she's a 2-cost 2/2. You can evolve her for 1, but when she comes into play, you can spend 2 play points and use 1 lesson, and this card gets +1/+1. So it seems like every starter deck is going to have one of these cards that's going to use, at least 1 lesson card, and then you spend the 2 extra play points, and you can turn this card into a 3/3. But you can evolve Yukimi, so on evolve, you choose another cool follower on the field, you give it 1 attack, rush, and assail. Pretty interesting that you're going to be giving a card Assail outside of like an amulet card, so you already have an evolve card that has rush, but you're going to be giving another card that's on the field rush and Assail, and then +1 attack. Alright, next up we have Takafuji Kako. So she's a 1-cost 2/2, and you can evolve her for 2. And looking at the Kako evolve, so she turns into a 3/3, but on evolve you can spend 3 play points to choose an enemy leader and then deal 3 damage to them. I hope you guys are reading the same cards that I am, because it's not only did you play that card for 1, you have to evolve it for 2, and then to get its own evolve effect you have to spend 3 play points. This card is expensive to deal 3 damage. Alright, next up we have Matsuoka Chizuru. So she's a 2-cost 2/3. She has a fanfare ability, so when she comes into play you can choose another cool follower from the field and give it +1 attack, and then when she dies you choose a cool follower from the field and you give it +1 attack again. If my eyes don't deceive me, it's a harder to proc Luminous Knight for the cool deck, so it's pretty nice that you're able to give another cool follower +1 attack on the field, and then when it dies, give it +1 attack as well. But I wish there was a way to give this card Rush so you can really buff up a cool follower like twice and then give it Storm with that play that we were doing before. But hey, it can't be a perfect world. Alright, next up we have Mizuki Saria. So she's a 5-cost 4/4. You can evolve her for 2, but she has Storm. And looking at the Mizuki evolve, so she turned into a 5/5, she still has Storm, but when she's evolved, you choose a follower from the enemy field and deal 5 damage to it. So it looks like there's not going to be a lot of spells in these starter decks, so it's nice that we have followers that have some removal attached to them. Alright, next up we have Ayase Hanaka. So she's a 1-cost 2/1. When she comes into play, you choose another Doremus follower on your field and give it Rush. Alright, so yes, this is the cheaper option to go ahead and give another follower rush on the field, and obviously we might be using the Luminous Knight follower that we have in our deck to go ahead and rush into a follower and give another cool follower +1 attack. Or if you want to go with a more expensive option, of course, we can go for the evolved follower to give that rush too. Alright, next up we have Umeki Otoha. So she's a 2-cost 1/3. Whenever you play a card, choose a follower from the enemy field and deal 1 damage to it. This card is Archer without an evolve and a worse stat line. Alright, and next up we have a single vessel, so it's a 2-cost amulet. So Fanfare and Last Words, choose a follower from the enemy field and deal 3 damage to it. You can also activate for 2 play points to engage this card and discard a card and put this card into your graveyard. So it's pretty interesting that you can spend 2 and deal 3 damage is something that's pretty cool, and then you also have to spend 2 and discard a card and deal another 3 damage. That seems a little more, on the costly side, but if you want to go ahead and get rid of this card and deal 3 damage to 2 followers, you're going to be spending a total of 4 play points, which isn't too crazy, but, you lose a card out of your hand, so it's not like the best card in the world. Alright, and next up we have Paranormal of Full Bloom. So it's a 5-cost quick spell. You can choose up to 2 followers from your enemy field and destroy them. Alright, so I'm starting to get a little glimpse of why this starter deck is just a little bit better than the other ones that I'm looking at, because you have a whole lot of spells that do a lot of damage, and then if outside of the damaging spells you have followers that are able to have rush and assail to attack other followers or gain like a bigger stat line, or with our legendaries, if you're able to combo them all together, you have a lot of damage swinging at your opponent with, hardly any defense. But moving on, we have Takemi Now. So she's a 5-cost 4/4, and you can evolve her for 1. And looking at the Takemi evolve, so she turned into a 5/5, but on evolve we choose a follower from the enemy field, deal damage equal to your maximum play points. Alright, so this would be a perfect card in Dragons, especially the Garyu deck, since it's able to play 5 costs for free and stuff like that. And then evolving it and dealing damage equal to your maximum play points, since you are Dragon and you're ramping and getting to those bigger play points than your opponent, it's going to be dealing a lot of damage to 1 follower. Alright, and lastly we have Rookie Trainer. So it's a 1-cost 2/2. You can activate it by engaging this card, and you can choose another Doremus follower from your field and you give it 1 attack. So like I said with the legendaries, you're going to be pairing up a whole bunch of storm damage, and of course you want to get the max amount of damage you can with your storm followers. So playing these 1-cost, 2-cost followers with, X amount of play points you have left to give, your followers +1 attack and stuff like that is really what you're going to be going for. Alright soldiers, well that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. It seems like the cool starter deck has more bang for your buck because, you have the storm, you have the removal, there's just lots of options to go for in this deck. Outside of the other niche things that are going in the other starter decks, it seems like the cool one is the best ones out of all of them. Well, alright guys, make sure you're safe whatever you do tonight and safe whatever you do for the rest of the year. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Yeah. TRINN. Just to get you away. What I got to do. What I got to do. Just to get you away. What I got to do.